Hello, everyone, and welcome to The Sweet Spot.
We are your hosts.
I'm Diane.
And I'm Michael Pinball Clemons.
And we are so excited to be here today.
The Sweet Spot really is joy unspeakable, having balance in all you do.
It's being grateful, even when things aren't great. The desire to help others when you may be hurting yourself.
It is submission to a sovereign God who is in control when things look good or bad.
The Sweet Spot means happy times are happier, challenging times are growth opportunities, and love is the ruler of the day.
The Sweet Spot is resting and sometimes wrestling in the arms of the Almighty.
Simply put, if you're in your sweet spot, you're probably abiding in the fruits of the Spirit.
Love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control.
So we hope you join us as we take this journey and engage in topics that we hope will inspire,
encourage,
challenge,
uplift,
excite,
insight,
refresh,
restore,
revitalize,
comfort,
stimulate,
and strengthen each of you in your daily walk.
Welcome to The Sweet Spot. Happy Thursday, everyone, and welcome to The Sweet Spot. Today we have in our studio Mr. Orlando Bowen.
Whoa!
Welcome, Orlando.
Honored to be here.
That's awesome. Orlando is a really good friend of ours. He is a philanthropist, he's an entrepreneur, he's a father, he's a husband, an ex-CFL baller, and might I add, a very good one at that. And today we're just going to have a great conversation and hear a little bit of Orlando's story. So Orlando, welcome.
Awesome. Thank you, Diane. And Mike, thanks for having me.
Today really is the sweet spot. My boy is in the house. Oh, my goodness.
Excited to be here, too.
We're excited to have you. And today we want to talk a little bit about your story, right? So your story growing up. And we also want to talk about what you're doing, what you're up to right now.
Okay, awesome.
But in the middle there, we want to talk about your family a little bit as well.
Okay,
okay?
Cool. Yep.
All right?
Sounds good.
So we want to start with your story, where you grew up,
okay,
playing sports, so maybe just share with us a little bit if you don't mind.
Born in Montego Bay, Jamaica, the beautiful island of
Montego Bay.
Yes, So I came to Canada when I was 3. Grew up in the Toronto area.
Right.
Then let me just flip this over like this. So grew up in Toronto, played sport, started off playing soccer, played striker for most of my time playing. Also played a little bit of defense when we scored enough goals to allow for that.
Yes, so striker.
Yes.
Big guy like you play striker.
Yes.
So did striker mean you're striking the other leg, running over the other team?
You know what? Sometimes it actually played out that way. Sometimes it played out that way. I think there was a fear sometimes on the other team's behalf when I was coming down.
You come on. For those of you who can't see Orlando, he's not small. Let's just say that.
Yes. So
played linebacker. In football. So I detected a nuance there, though. You said you played striker.
Yes.
And then after you scored a few goals, you said you as in the team, but I'm saying you as in you. and then they put you on defense after that. Well, so you scored the goals, and then you went back to make sure that they couldn't score the goals.
That's a generous way to put it. I was
Is it also accurate?
It's somewhat accurate.
Yes.
It's somewhat accurate. I was involved in the scoring of goals, and then my job was to take that spirit of excellence, if you will, and bring it to the defensive side of the ball because of that pride, defensive pride type of thing.
Said.
Yeah, thank you, thank you. So passionate about that game. Interesting.
It is a great game.
It's a phenomenal game. Yes. Phenomenal game. My dad coached my house league team for a couple of seasons, which was sort of crazy now that I look back, because he was working 3 jobs at the time. And I you know what, I thought everyone's dad must work 3 jobs and is involved with their team. That was my assumption because of that's what I knew.
That's amazing.
Right?
What a commitment.
And it's interesting, some of the things that we do now as an organization, One Voice, One Team, the youth leadership charity, that I serve as the executive director at, is connected to some of those lessons that I learned from my parents, from my grandparents, really just being the hands and feet of Christ, you know, in terms of serving. Everyone's kid was their child type of thing.
That's
right? My dad would like be, you know, hey, what are you doing? You need to come play soccer. And taking kids out and buying them shoes, even when we didn't have a whole lot, sacrificing because of what he saw in other young people. So I'm grateful for all of those lessons that were unspoken lessons.
That's beautiful.
But they led by example.
It was no formal charity, right? It was a way of life, rather than calling it charity. It was just a way of life. It's what they did. It's
how it should be.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's how it should be.
Absolutely. So there are a number of lessons and seeds planted that way with myself and my sister.
So what would you say are one or two of the most important lessons you learned from your parents?
I think number one, it's not about you as an individual, right? It's about what you can do with what you've been blessed with. Because even though the work was hard and we didn't have much, we had enough, right? And we always had enough to share, to give. And by sharing and giving, it's like we were blessed in different ways.
Right.
So that was number one. It's not about you. And then I think the second thing is to use whatever it is that you love to engage other people.
Right.
So maybe it's music, right? How you bless people with your music, how you shift energy with your music, with the voice you've been blessed with, or whether it's through your ability to articulate, how you engage, you inspire people through the words and the way you deliver. Whatever it is that you have, use that to serve and to make a difference in other people's lives. So I think that's those two lessons really stand out and shape how I live and how we live as a family.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, that's great. So now you are an aspiring young athlete who is playing soccer. When did you start football?
I started late. I started when we moved to Brampton. I couldn't get on a soccer team at the time of the move, so I was like, okay, what do I need to do? I need to do something else. My uncle my Uncle Henry was very good at basketball. So I said, you know what, I'm gonna play basketball. I was a tall kid and I was terrible. I watched, now back in the day, Michael Jordan had a series, like a video series called Come Fly With Me. And I remember watching the series and seeing him dunking on people and shooting game-winning shots, and I said, I'm going to be just like him. I was excited, so I had a first chance to play organized basketball. I had the ball. I'm playing defense. The guy I was playing defense against took a shot, so my momentum I challenged the shot, so my momentum was carrying me towards their basket. The shot missed. Our point guard, Vaughn, got the rebound, so I'm wide open. I'm like, Vaughn, pass me the ball. He heaves the ball up to me, and I catch it, and there's nothing between myself and the basket, and all I'm thinking is, I watch Michael Jordan all weekend, right? I'm about to put it down right now, right? I was so excited, I took one bounce, took another bounce, and I'm like, I'm about to do something special. I took a third bounce, and the ball bounced off my foot and went out of bounds. And I'd never forget, our coach, he used to always wear a baseball cap. He took it off and he slammed his cap on the ground. He turned to our point guard and he said, you know he can't dribble. You know you should not pass him the ball. And I thought, man, I must really be bad, right? Because the coach didn't even get mad at me. He got mad at the dude that passed me the ball. Like, that's deep. That's deep. So anyhow,
he got mad at you. That's one thing. But
he got mad at the dude that gave him the ball. So I thought, never again will I be the weak link on any team that I play on. If I'm gonna play, I'm not gonna be that guy. I'm gonna be the guy that they could count on. So there are many lessons in that. Started to pursue basketball.
Even Michael Jordan dribbles off his foot every once in a while.
This is true.
So from there, you decided that you were gonna play football. Did you know anyone that played football? Or?
Donovan Carter. Actually,
DC, yes,
was one of my. He lived about 6 doors down from me, and he was playing football since he was 10, since he was real young. And he'd always say, you know what, you're big, you're strong, you're fast. He said, come out and play. And I'd say, you know, I'm an island guy, man. What do you guys do if it rains? He's like, oh, we play. I said, okay. What do you do if it snows? He says, oh, we play. I said, I can't do that. I'm not a snow. I can't have a snowsuit on. No, that's not me. So anyhow, in the 10th grade, they got me out and they put me on defense. And they said, you know how you lock guys down in basketball? Do that to that guy. That wide receiver, don't let him touch the ball. And if he touches it, hit him. Wow. So he touched it. And I hit him, and I got up and I said, "Oh, I could play this. I got this. I could do this." Yes. So that was grade 10. Wow. And then so I started off as a corner. Okay. You talked about a big striker. Yes. I was playing corner in grade 10 at about 6 foot and about 200 pounds.
Wow.
6 foot 200 pounds is larger than the average size professional corner.
Right.
Yes, it is.
Yes.
Right. Yeah. So corners they can get up to about 215 sometimes.
Yeah,
that's a big corner.
Yeah.
Most of those guys are even like from 175 to 205.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
And you were 200 in high school.
Yeah.
Grade 10.
Grade 10. Yeah.
My goodness.
Yeah, so I did well.
You know, they call playing cornerback, you know, playing on the island because it's one-on-one and you're out there by yourself. That must have been, ooh. I can imagine being a grade 10 kid and being on that island with you. Yeah. Oh, no. That was more like a horror story than an island.
Wow.
I was excited, though. And so I went... as I played that season, there were a couple guys ahead, like a couple years ahead, that got scholarships, and so they brought attention and eyes to our school, and then I started getting noticed because of, I guess, my size and my ability to run, and a passion to get to the ball, and I ended up getting a scholarship to Northern Illinois University, home of the Huskies.
Nice.
So I. Did my thing there, worked hard, played hard, played linebacker and defensive end, and graduated a couple times too.
Okay.
So.
All right.
Yeah.
That's good.
Nice.
Yeah. Now you always slip these little things in. Graduated a couple of times too. So can you tell us about these couple of times?
Yeah, sure. So I started as a freshman, and then I got hurt my second year. And so I had all this extra time on my hands because I couldn't play. I had a stress fracture in my back, so they said I would actually never play again. And this was a key for me, too, because, excuse me, I remember going to the specialist, and he came in, and, he pulls the curtains. I'm sitting on the bed, and he says, do you have any aspirations of playing professional football? And I said, hey, doc, listen, I'm not banking on anything, but if a chance presents, absolutely. And he said, you're probably never going to play this game again because you have a hairline crack in your back, and there's a chance you'll never be able to really run and stuff again. And the trainer that had brought me there, she broke down, she was crying, and I was just thinking, God, for real? And I remember going back to my dorm room and saying, God, if I have a chance to impact one life through this game, then please allow me to play this game again. And if this is it, then if this is your will, then so be it. But if one life could be impacted, let me play the game. Wow. And they gave me two options. Surgery was one option, or wearing a plastic cast, a corset for 3 months was the second option. I chose the corset. So it kept me in this position. It was all the way around from my waist to just underneath my neck. It had two straps at the side so I could take it off and shower. I wore that for 3 months, and then slowly started to rehabilitate, walking on the treadmill at 4.4 miles per hour, until I was able to start to jog and then run and then strengthen my core. And then the next year I was able to, by God's grace, was able to come back and then play. But in that time, I loaded up my academics. I loaded up my workload so that I could get ahead. So I ended up graduating in 3.5 years and then starting on my master's degree before my 4th year started. So by the time I was finished, I was able to get a bachelor's in marketing and a master's in the management of information technology.
Look at you. Okay.
Yes. There's a lot of substance there, though. The Apostle Paul said, I learned the secret of life is to be content in all things, right? Better, easier said than done.
Yeah.
Right? I am so interested in your maturity and where you were. What brought you at, as a strong, vibrant young man who is in university, who has a chance to play professional sport, which is what almost every young kid, especially boys, want to do, and be able to say, God, if I can, if I can help at least just one person, allow me to continue to play this. But if not, right, I'm good with it. What brought you to that? Like,
yeah, I think it's just understanding that it's a gift, right? Our time is a gift. Our talents are gifts. Excuse me. So it's not so much about the talent. It's about what you do with the talent, right? Okay. So maybe that's the path. Right. Maybe the gift of the sport, the ability to play the sport is the path. But maybe it's something else.
Right.
Maybe something else is the path. Maybe this was just the gift for this time.
Right.
And now it's time to shift. So it's like being open to listening to God's, seeking God's direction and being open to actually listening to it.
Now, if I can ask, most young people, especially grade 10, don't really have a personal relationship with God and probably wouldn't have prayed that prayer.
Right.
At what point did you begin to have a personal relationship and did you grow up, did you grow up in the church? Like, when did your relationship with God begin?
So I grew up in the church, but I still think that my personal relationship didn't really come to fruition or kick in until like my senior year in high school.
Okay.
Or senior year in high school, grade 11, grade 12, because it was, excuse me, I just wanted to be able to make a difference. That was like my thing, because it was just instilled from everyone in my family. Right. Like, you have this gift, and you understand. When I go back to Jamaica, when I went back to Jamaica as a young child, I have cousins out there that are younger. I have cousins out there that are older, who are looking at me like, man, you're so lucky. You have this chance. And so I've always felt a sense of responsibility to do something with the opportunities that so many others wish they could have had, right? So just to be there is not good enough. You got to do something with that opportunity. And I think sometimes we get lost in here in North America just thinking, we're here. Like, it's about stuff. It's about, and not necessarily about how you can contribute to others and to others' perspectives. So I just wanted to make people proud and give, I wanted to honor the fact that I had this opportunity. I had no choice in it, right? We left when I was 3. I had, and even the fact that I was able to come here, people were telling my mom, you're crazy, you shouldn't apply to go with a child. That no one does that. They leave their kids back here, they go on their own, and then they bring their child over. And she's like, I'm not going without him, right? So it's just a lot of different things that, again, the dots often connect in hindsight, right? So I just feeling a sense of responsibility, I think, has always been deep inside me, because I'm like, why me? And because it is me, I have to do something.
So you've inferred that Canada has been a gift to you.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So coming here. And I want to maybe just go back, because this happened in university now. How old were you when the injury happened?
19.
So this is 19 years old.
Yeah.
Right? So you're 19 years old and you have that level of maturity, right? Well, praise God. It'll continue to unveil as we talk more about what you're doing now and where you're going now. Yeah. But you were thinking about going on to use those degrees to to, and you had some great job offers. You were offered opportunity to get in, be in some major leadership programs. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so it was interesting. So I started as a freshman, got hurt my second year, loaded up academically, prayed for guidance, discernment, and just health. Was able to start to make that road, make that journey. And, you know, when I was going into my third year, I was cleared to play again. I was really excited. My teammates were excited. But all the coaches that brought me in got fired. So, you know, new coaching staff came in, and it's all good, but I'm not. They actually got fired and came in while I was in rehab. So, you know, I wasn't necessarily one of their guys, and I wasn't contributing, and I'm an international student, and so the investment level for the university was high, and they're not seeing any return. So, you know, they weren't very happy about that. Anyhow, we worked through that, and I was able to come back and play and contribute, so everything was all good. Going into my senior year, I got a call from Sears Roebuck. I think this is just an amazing opportunity. I was selected one of 12 students in the U.S. to participate in a management trainee program.
1 out of 12.
Yeah, 1 out of 12.
In the country. 300 million people. Okay, continue. Yes, so I just want to put perspective.
So it was a crazy opportunity, in that they said, you know, at the time, they're like, you'll make $19 an hour, we'll give you a car, you'll have an apartment. It's a 12-week program, 6 weeks in the store, 6 weeks rotating through various functional areas at head office. And I'm thinking, this is amazing. Right. They had optional workouts during the summer that I had to make a choice. I ended up having to make a choice. Right. Do I do the optional workouts, or do I take this opportunity? Now, my perspective was that football could be gone like this. Right. Because it was for me.
Yes.
Right? So I have to be thinking longer term, thinking about my family one day. So I took the leadership opportunity.
Let's go back. You didn't have to. You chose to, because most young people your age, all they can see is the stars. Right. All they can see is the sport. Right. They think nothing else. So you consciously made a decision at that point.
Yes.
A life decision.
Yes.
Right? Yeah. Good.
It was
excellent.
Because things are sometimes fleeting, and I don't know what direction God will want me to go in, but this is what I think made the most sense. Prayed about it, talked to folks about it, but it was difficult. It was a difficult decision because essentially, if I stay, I will have a chance to play for sure in my position. Yes. If I take the leadership opportunity, I would lose my position on the football field. Right. But I chose to do the leadership opportunity, and my commitment, though, in terms of the work ethic, outside of the leadership opportunity was still going to be my absolute best. So I trained hard. I would work. Trained so hard sometimes that stuff would come up, and because I was pushing myself that way, because I wanted no excuses, and I was able to come back, and even though I had been demoted, I was, by God's grace, trust me, I'm telling you, I was able to earn my starting position back by the end of training camp, and was voted team captain and graduated with my master's. So it was good. So it all worked out in the end, and
there's a lot of good things. That was great.
Agreed. So it's just been, the journey has been a real gift. It's been a real blessing, and the perspective that I've gained through some of those things is what I felt when I started, when I finished and started working in information technology. I felt like some of those lessons could really help people, but I had no platform or opportunities to share. So, you know, I went to Jamaica for my friend's wedding, staying at this really posh hotel in New Kingston, and going back from a dinner party, you know, I had a little bounce in my step. I'm walking like, oh, I've arrived, you know, because this is where I left with hardly anything. But now I've got money in my pockets. I could buy food for family gifts. And a little boy comes up to me and he says, excuse me, could you spare a couple $dollars so I could get a piece of bread? And I remember thinking, what have I accomplished for real? If that's all he needs. And then how many more just like him? So as I take him to get him something to eat, I'm thinking, what's he gonna do when I leave? So I went back, I was praying, like, please, God, I just want to be able to make a difference. And there's all these young people and they're hurting in Jamaica, in Chicago, in Toronto. I have to do something. And then the Argos called and said, are you still interested in playing football? And I thought, I see you. I see you. Because the one question I said was, will I have a chance to serve the community if I play this sport? And the gentleman on the other line said, absolutely, you. Yeah, so it's all of that, man. You see God's hand throughout it, right? Steering and putting people in your life and showing you the light. So that I just feel compelled to give back through that and to empower others to step into their own spaces of greatness, whether that's the beautiful voice or the way you articulate and what you articulate that moves people. Right? So, yeah.
Well, if you didn't get the inference, though, I did make the call to Orlando to come back to football because I thought that he could use that platform to do. Well, I'm sorry. I called him to help us because we needed the help, right? And then as I got to know who he was over the phone call, I assured him that that's what we believed in, and he would be able to use that platform for good. I'm sorry, honey.
No, I just want to say I know our time is running out, and I do want to give you the opportunity to talk about what you're doing right now.
So if you don't mind, I think we're going to hold that.
Okay.
Because we're going to get in there. What I want you to do maybe here now is talk about your family a little bit. And maybe close with a little Bible verse or a little passage or something that for the people who are listening. Because we talk about getting in that sweet spot. And
absolutely.
A guy who can do it at 19 when he has an injury that says he may never run again, right? Can give us some great insight on that sweet spot.
Which means we'll have to bring you back for another show.
I would be honored.
Or two.
Yes. I'm game. So I've been so blessed. I've got a beautiful wife by the name of Sky.
And she is beautiful.
She's absolutely beautiful. Inside and out.
Sky says it all.
Yes, it does. And we've been blessed with 3 boys.
3 boys.
3 boys. Dante is 13. Justice is 11. Marcus is 10. And they're all like just amazing, very different, very vibrant. Excuse me, very talented young men who we have like this. The way that we see it is we have this finite amount of time to pour all that we have into them, so that they can go out and love God, love people, and use whatever they have to make a difference. So that's what we're doing. You know, that's what we're doing. We're pouring out and doing all we can to connect them to people like yourselves, right? So that they could see examples. Because it's one thing to talk about it, but when they sit with you, they're like, I actually touched her. It's not just someone that's like, do you know? Oh, no, I know, right? And they find themselves in excellence, right? And that's what you two have. I've always known you to bring that epitome of excellence to the table and to everything that you do. So they were excited that I was coming here today.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, so
good. You have something you might be able to offer the people.
So I wanted to pull up Isaiah 40, verse 31. So I'm gonna pull it. I've got it up here. But one of the things that I wanted to share was that we've had some difficult times, and sometimes where we felt like we don't know what tomorrow holds.
Right.
Right? And we don't know where the strength is going to come from. And we had very little, but we had faith.
Right.
And we had prayer that brought about something that I had only heard about as I was growing up, the peace that passes all understanding.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yes.
I physically experienced that. But this scripture brought it home for me. So Isaiah 40 verse 31, I'm reading from the New International Version. But those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not be faint.
Yeah.
So that was like a calling card.
Yes.
Like, because, you know, we're like, I don't know where it's going to come from. Times are hard, and we're looking around like, you know, it's just, life can be so unfair sometimes.
Right.
And without God, we wouldn't be here.
Yes.
Yeah, without God, we wouldn't be here. So it's only by His glory and His grace.
His grace.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. So, you know, it's just amazing. I say that when you pray, like diligently pray, and you surrender everything, 2 + 2 can equal 9. No, for real.
Amen.
Absolutely.
And
Amen.
don't even ask. Don't check the math.
Yes.
It just is.
It just is.
Yes.
That's
It just is,
I
because
feel
that's
you. I
how
feel
God
you.
works.
That's right.
So, you know, it's been an absolute blessing.
Yes,
Yeah, the journey
yes.
has been a
That's
blessing.
beautiful.
right.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
So that's how you get 2 degrees, huh? Doing math like that. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It works.
Yes. Excelling.
Well, listen, our time is up, and we just want to say thank you so much, Bo. I mean, you have been a blessing, I'm sure, to many today. But thank you for coming in, and we will do a part 2 because you have an amazing story that I would love for the people to hear. And so we're going to have you back. We're going to have you back and join us again here in the studio. And until next time, we're going to end with the words that we love to end with Edward Everett. I am only one, but I am one. I cannot do everything, but I can do something. What I can do, I ought to do. And what I ought to do, by the grace of God, I will do. Until next time, stay in your sweet spot.
Woo!